Dividing whole numbers. Example 1. Victor has 162 feet of heater hose. If an average vehicle uses 9 feet of hose, how many cars can he use the hose for repairs? So you can see that we are doing a division problem. And what we're doing is we're taking 162 and dividing it by 9. And the way we can show this would be like this. And then we put the 162 in the division symbol, and we're going to put that 9 out in the front. Now we ask ourselves 9 and how many times it goes into 162. And so how we do that is we break it down. So the first question we ask is, can 9 go into this first number here on the far left here, which is the 1. Now 1 is smaller than 9, so 9 can't go into 1. So we're going to place a 0 on the top to indicate this. So now we ask ourselves, can 9 go into 16? Now, 9 can go into 16 1 times because it can't go anymore because 9 times 2 is 18 and 16 is smaller than 18. So we know it's only 1. So then we go 9 times this 1, which is equal to 9. And then what we do is we take 16 minus 9 here, and we get the remainder of 7. Then the next step will be to bring down that 2 to make it 72. And then the next question we will ask is, how many times can 9 go into 72? And we remember that 8 times 9 is 72. So we can go into it 8 times. So 9 times 8 is 72. And then we're going to go ahead and subtract. And then we get 0 there, because 72 minus 72 is 0. And so, how many cars can you use this for repairs? And the answer is 18 cars or vehicles. Now, there are different ways to show division. So, for example, with our problem, we could have done it like this. If it was just a problem like this, to show you that to divide. Another way that's also shown is 162 divided by 9. And then, of course, the way that we did it. So all of these ways are acceptable ways to show that we need to divide. And you will come across them throughout this course. So now let's do another example. Now we have a trip that was 448 miles. The car used 14 gallons of fuel. How many miles per gallon did the vehicle get? So once again, we are dividing. We have our number 448, and we're going to divide by 14. So we put the 14 on the far left of the symbol. Now, like before, we're going to take 14, and we're going to see how many times it can go into 4, which we know it can't because 4 is much smaller. So we will look at the first 2 numbers. Now, 14 is a number that is a little bit harder to guess how many times it can go into it. So what I like to do is I kind of like to have a couple that I just do here. So I'm going to go 14 times 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. And let's do 14 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry that 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 1 is 4. So let's just go ahead, because 42 is pretty close to 44. So now we know 14 can go into 44 3 times. So 14 times this 3 is 42. And then we're going to subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2, and 4 minus 4 is 0. So we have this 2. The next step will be to bring down that 8. So now we have 28. Which we can see right here, 14 can go into 28 2 times. So now we have 14 times 2, which is 28. So that's how we get this number here. And then we subtract. And we get a 0 right there. So now we know that the vehicle got 32 miles per gallon. Let's look at another example. In the shop, there are 736 spark plugs with 8 plugs in each box. How many boxes of spark plugs are there? So once again, we're dividing. So we have 736, and we're dividing it by 8. Once again, we look at this 8, and we see how many times it can go into the first number here, which 7 is just smaller than 8, so we can't do it. So we can put a 0 above to show that. Now, 8 can go into 73, and we remember from our last problem in example 1 that 8 times 9 is 72. So we're going to put 8 times 9 is 72. So we'll put that 72 below it, and we will subtract. Now, 3 minus 2 is equal to 1, and 7 minus 7 is 0. Then the next step will be to bring down that 6. Now, 8 can go into 16 2 times. So 8 times 2 is 16, and then we can go 16 minus 16, which is equal to 0. So how many boxes are there? There are 92 boxes.